Today's adventure brings me just off the freeway, about 5 miles from Six Flags Magic Mountain, near Valencia, Stevenson Ranch, California, to be more technical on the coordinates, to Valencia, the former Valencia Oaks Movie Ranch, which is right down this hill. As the recording of this, it is February 2nd, 2023. A lot of movies, television productions, commercials were filmed out here back in the day. Knight Rider, Murder, She Wrote, A-Team, and a little show that I've been watching a lot of. I've watched it my whole life, but I've really been getting back into it lately. Dukes of Hazzard, right down in these hills. I'm gonna traverse down there and see what I can find, see what's left, if anything, and show where Uncle Jesse's farm was, the Boar's nest was, and a couple other key points from that classic television show. Welcome everyone! TheDailyWoo here. There is a strong rumor, or at least I saw some stuff online, which you never could trust the internet, that a lot of this, maybe all of this, will eventually become homes, residential areas, possibly a shopping center, condos, hotels, things like that, with progress. Big cities, Los Angeles, metropolis area, that way, probably 10 miles or so. It's really kind of spreading out this way, and even this whole area is kind of a vast treasure trove of residents, new residents, old residents. And this, since it's no longer used for filming or anything, I can just see that history will be wiped away. Now, I would imagine a lot of the foundations from the Dukes of Hazzard probably are gone, but I would imagine that a lot of the trees are still there. So hopefully I can line up some angles, get some screen grabs, things like that, and see what I can find. If not, I'll just have a nice stroll on a very nice, comfortable, pleasant, weather-wise, Southern California day. Join me, shall you? Now, before getting started, I want to give credit to 2 reference points that I'm going to be using as far as guide maps go. Now, I kind of scoured a lot of message boards and things of the past online, so it's really kind of hard to designate every bit of information that I'm utilizing. But as far as guide maps go, there was one from 2006, which is, quite a few years ago. A guy by the name of Richard Cummings, Hazzard historian, and he did a little guide map showing some of the spots. And then 10 years ago or so, there was a show called Kibbe and Friends, K-I-B-B-E and Friends, and they also clarified where some of these spots will be. And then a lot of other information, but those are the 2 key guide maps I'll be going off of. And this was kind of an impulsive adventure. I've been staying near Universal Studios, which is about half hour from here with traffic. Traffic was pretty lenient and good today. And I thought, you know what? I'm gonna regret if I didn't do this now, even though I'm not 1,000, well, it's not 1,000, but there's no such thing as anything more than 100, but I'm not 100% prepared with lots of photos. I have a few photos, but what if I was to return next time I'm out here and a lot of this is gone? So I figured I'd just do it now. Maybe I'll make a return trip, but I wanted to check this out. That's why I'm just decided to do it. Now, a lot of this was used in many episodes. The first 6 episodes from season 1 was filmed in Covington, Georgia, Conyers, Georgia, Covington, Georgia. After that, the show took off, became very popular. They filmed the town square at Warner Brothers, some other Southern California spots, but the majority of all the car chases, jumps, things like that were all out here at this ranch. From season 1, episode 7, and on until the duration of the show. Lot of General Lees were out here. In fact, you can even see where some of the road used to be for certain productions. Now a lot of it's gone, hasn't been repaired. Obviously they're not utilizing it for anything out here. It's not even drivable. Unless you had like a Jeep or something. Now, according to one of those maps I was referencing earlier, they used this for one of the 2 spots for General Lee storage. And they used hundreds of cars. There was not just one General Lee. In fact, if you watch a show, anytime they'd ramp over something and crash into something, it was pretty much destroyed. It would be considered totaled as a standard as far as insurance goes, and not undrivable, so they have to get another car. So they just went through countless different General Lees. Look at this old road here. I'm really excited to see exactly where the Boar's nest was and Uncle Jesse's. Those are my two spots I'm really keen on finding. Can't you just picture the General driving through here? All these old pipes, rusted out pipes through here also. Some old fencing back in here. It's kind of fallen down. Okay, this is like a fork in the road, which on the maps is very prominent. So should be pretty close to the Duke farm now. Oh yeah. Now in my mind I can't really match up exact scenes, but this is just the image I'm getting from that late 70s, early 80s show through here. Roscoe P. Coltrane chasing the Dukes down this road. Again, looking at the map right over here, they said this is where the cast trailers were. So this is where John Schneider would have been, Tom Wopat would have been. James Best and everyone else. Also something called a Hazzard phone booth. Possibly used in the show, or maybe just the phone booth that they could use to call out from was over that where I just pointed the camera. I'm also looking at satellite view on my phone just to kind of get a bearing on where I'm walking. And Uncle Jesse should have been in here somewhere. They're telling what kind of creatures of the wild are out here too. Maybe I should go back to that other more open road. Yeah, I'm gonna go back to that other road. Okay, take a look over this direction. It's a slab of concrete over there, some sort of foundation. Hiding over there in the shrubs. After close scrutinization of where I'm standing on the satellite view, looking at the little blue dot when you're looking on the maps and all that, and the maps provided I found online, supposedly Uncle Jesse's and the Duke's farm was right here. However, I know it was moved a couple times, so I don't know what iteration or what generation, I'm not sure if I'm even using the right word, what timeline of the Duke's farm. Now, of course, the first 6 episodes in Georgia, the rest of them here on this property, but one of them, according to what I read by multiple sources, it was right here. There's not really any trees really to match up though, however, so I'm gonna keep scouring the countryside. It's also very green out here. This is the greenest I've seen the hillsides in Southern California in a long time. Usually it's just all kind of barren and just dirt. It's not though, it's very green, lush. All right, this is not giving me a vote of confidence to be wandering around out here. Oh my Lord. I mean, it's daylight, so it's probably a little safer, but there's no telling what kind of animals are out here. That thing was shredded. I did grab this stick, but I feel like it's not really durable enough. Probably need to find something a little more sturdy, just in case. Going through some, you see a lot of other people, like someone's rode their bikes back here. There's a regular bike tracks, footprints, so I am not the only one who has traversed back here. Why you need like a mountain bike to go through all this and not get stuck on it? You can have like a 10-speed bicycle with those skinny tires. You wouldn't make it through all this mud. All right, immediately I had a lot of different scenes pop into my head right here. Now on the map, this is called Repeat Slide Corner because they slid around this corner so many times, either chasing someone or being chased by the law, either Enos or Roscoe P. Coltrane or Boss Hogg or who knows who else. But just look at this. These are the same trees in here. The General Lee, I mean, seeing it in my mind, because I've seen this so many times, I just don't know which episodes, came right around here and went this way repeatedly. Hence the name on those maps, Repeat Slide Corner. As soon as I turned this corner and saw this, I was like, oh my gosh, that looks so familiar. And now around this bend, I am really confident, now that I'm seeing that peak, that always went above the top of the boar's nest, but the boar's nest sat right over there. If there's a foundation left, I'm gonna be really excited, but I should be able to match up some photos of that little peak there and where the boar's nest was below it. What if you say the name of the establishment 3 times like Beetlejuice, like I just did? I said boar's nest 3 times, now I just said it 4. If it'll appear, that'd be awesome. Just to give some perspective, here's one of the maps I'm looking at. So I walked in from that way, and I'm kind of going off of what the research that they had done. A lot of people have done different research, but these are the 2 sites as stated. But right there where it says Boar's Nest is right where another road connects. There's a fly flying around my face. You see that right above the crossroads there, it says Boar's Nest. So I'm just looking for that crossroad, and that should be where it is. Aha, crossroad right there. This is that road they always drove in on, sometimes very speedily through here. You'd see that off in the distance, or they'd be coming this way, or the way I walked in, that way, and they'd pull right up to wet their whistle, see Daisy, who worked here, and also Boss Hogg's office, and Roscoe were also in there. Daisy, in a roundabout way, worked for Boss Hogg, but she wasn't part of any of the shenanigans that went on with money laundering and stuff, but she served drinks at the Boar's Nest, which was right freaking here. Look at this. Found this photo on another site that talks about the history of the ranch itself. You can see the sign that says Boar's Nest. You can even see it looks like Roscoe with his sheriff cap on, it has the coach. But look at the peaks right over here, signifying that if I look off to the left, that those are the same little hilly mountain peaks. As shown right there, which means it was a little farther up than where I'm standing. I don't know if I want to go trouncing through all those shrubs, probably some snakes and no telling what else, creatures of the wild in there. But that's the same angle looking off to the side of where the bar would have been. But if I pan out, you'll see kind of how far I'm zoomed in. Now it could have been one of those things, just like the Duke's farm, that they might have moved it to other spots as well, but I'm pretty sure it probably sat right here, kind of about in that area over there. Even if the Duke's farm was moved a couple times, I would imagine the Boar's Nest probably sat right here for all the episodes. It's really tough to match anything up, I gotta be honest. But looking at more maps, this is known as the gulley at the Boar's Nest, used for many, many jumps of all the different cars jumping over this. And I would imagine these trees were here even back then, but probably a lot smaller. But very unique looking trees through here over this little wash that goes that way. And then of course the bar is right over there. Okay, now I'm a little confused. So that crossroads right over there. But I'm looking at this, and this almost looks like where it would be behind as well. Now it could be over there where it's stated to be, but it might, I don't know, maybe 30% chance of it being here, 70% over there, just based on kind of being here now looking at it. Because this road, so the water tower, the water tower that was in the show, the Hazzard County Water Tower, was over there in between those 2 peaks. Like kind of, I guess I could use the stick to ward off animals to also use as a pointing stick. Right there was the water tower. And you could see the edge of the Boar's Nest here, even though the other angle is there. Of course, they could have been using a wider lens. The water tower was right there. You see them playing basketball. And this curvature of the street looks very familiar too. I'll kind of show you a photo as well. But notice the way this slants down and then that mountain range goes up. As shown, so even pay close attention, past, obviously past the basketball goal and all that, even Boss Hogg's down there, shooting some hoops. There is that, well, I don't say iconic, but notable water tower there in the middle of the frame. And then over here is that slanted road, and there's even power poles. Those might even be the same power poles decades later sitting here, as shown here. Which kind of leads me to believe that maybe the Boar's Nest was right here and not another 30, 40 yards that way as pinpointed on the map. I don't know for certain. Either way, it was in here. I'm making a mountain out of a molehill, more or less, but in this area was where it was. I'm getting way too excited about this. I really am. Another group online called the Dukes of Hazzard County posted this photo, which is a screen grab from one of the episodes.
and you can kind of see the mountain range behind, but they could have been pulled way back using a zoom lens, which means they'd have to go down that road, that crossroad, because if you're standing where I am, it really doesn't give the same perspective. It kind of does, but you'd have to go way down this way. I'm gonna walk down there and try it. Yeah, see, that's tough unless it was like that. But the peaks don't match up precisely. They kind of do, but they're a little more jagged than what I showed in that photo, which means maybe they moved it out of the course of the season. It went on for many years. Maybe they shifted it to a different spot. Maybe it was here and maybe they moved it. More of these little gullies and washes that they had a lot of jumps over. Now I'm looking at it back more from this angle. I found another photo that kind of shows an angle from like this, and this kind of does match up more. Looks like it was right up against the base of the mountain, off to the side. So I guess I maybe should have to traverse through those shrubs. But looking that way, it does look the same. But it was over there. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna do it. I'm pretty sure it's it. Let's say it's it. All right, take a look at this. This is from one of the episodes as the truck is pulling up. That water tower's been removed. You see this big tree. You see that cross street where they're heading directly towards where I'm standing right now. You even can see the bend in the dirt road. If I step back, you can see how it kind of turns. Obviously, they were using a zoomed-in lens, but there's that tree and the unmistakable mountain curvation. This little road is something designated the triangle. They use this quite a bit as well. Some distinctive trees. I mean, really, all of this was used just so many different times from different angles, and just the slightest movement. You know, standing here looks completely different than it did when I was over there 30 yards. It's like a little bridge up there too. Interesting. There's a really great episode called Ghost of the General Lee. I think it's in the 2nd season, where there's it's like almost like their haunted episode, where the General Lee, they fooled Roscoe into believing that it was, you know, it was haunted. And I'm kind of getting some vibes out here. I'm just expecting the Ghost of the General Lee to ride up here. Made me think of that episode. Great episode. Oh, I'm using my pointing stick. Now I have heard a lot about this. Many years ago, I had heard that the bridge from Nothing But Trouble, Chevy Chase, Dan Aykroyd movie, was out here. Oh, this creepy tree. But I gotta be honest, I'm a huge Chevy Chase fan. Fletch, Vacation, Funny Farm. You know, I love Chevy Chase. I've never seen the particular movie though. For whatever reason, it slipped past my radar, Nothing But Trouble. I don't remember anything about it. I do know that Grim Life Collective came out here and did a whole video on this. So you want to check that out. But yeah, it's right next to the Dukes of Hazzard spots. How freaking cool. Look at this bridge. I even think this bridge was used in other stuff as well. Yeah, I probably should get around to watching that movie. I mean, I saw it when it came out, but I remember nothing about it. Nothing But Trouble. This was the entrance into the, I guess the compound or the lair. I don't really know because I haven't seen it. It's all rusted out. Someone has put an American flag up there. Oh yeah, you can still see the mechanical items on the bottom of it. Pretty cool though, right? All the way out here. Sitting here empty. Wow, look at that view. That's like a good reveal. Pulling in that way with that creepy tree right there. If you kind of look off of this bridge, this metal bridge, ooh, that is, do not want to cut yourself on that. So anytime there was like a little ravine like this, you could see where water would go under this. They always use these for all their different jumps, including right through here too. That is quite the interesting tree. Where am I pointing at? Right there. But the boar's nest is right over there. Right there. Boar's nest, creepy tree. Boar's nest, creepy bridge. Unique looking tree. Boar's nest. Right over there. I want to get rid of the stick, but I feel like once I throw it over there, an animal's going to come out and say hello. Now that I know all this is out here, just sitting here, when I finally get back home, I'm still going to be gone. I'm leaving California soon, but going to elsewhere across the U.S. When I finally get back to Florida, I'll throw my Dukes DVDs on. I bought the complete box set, all the seasons, last time I was in Gatlinburg. And I might do a really in-depth piece at one point on Warner Brothers and then out here. Might do like an expansive piece one day in my life, as long as this doesn't turn into condos and apartments. If anyone feels like matching anything up, that would be awesome. I have an Instagram, TheDailyWoo ATW on Instagram. I have a Facebook page too, /TheDailyWoo. Any Duke aficionados out there? And the reason I'm just kind of over filming is because I know a lot of this can be seen. So I feel like what I'm showing, you know, for any nerd like me of the show, probably wants to see this in great detail, because not everyone's been out here to see this. This landscape. Check out the moss on the ground here. Oh, the birds flying up. So this is a little deeper into what they call the triangle, where they would drive up and around. This ravine used for many, many jumps. And then obviously I've shown what's over there many times. The bridge over that way. I'm going to consort the map and just see if anything is pinpointed right in here for research purposes. Where I'm standing was used in Cooter's Confessional, that episode, the triangle. There used to be some train tracks through here too. I can't find the train tracks. And right over by that bridge I was pointing out was the Eubanks poster jump used in many, many jumps over there near that bridge in that ravine. I'm going to zoom in on that bridge now, up there in between the split in the mountain. Concrete bridge, grown over with grass. Wonder what that was for. Consulting those maps again, if you could follow this up from where the Boar's Nest was, this straight road was used for many different jumps as well. Countless, there's really too many to name. But then also the Welcome Back Bo and Luke episode, there was a crash scene right in this area as well. I really wish there was more trees at the Duke's farm that was more recognizable. I'm gonna walk back over there just to see maybe if I missed something. I mean, I gotta exit out that way anyway. It's like people use these for dirt bike trails and stuff too. One thing about Bo and Luke, and Coy and Vance too, for a short time frame, they were just the good old boys. They were never, ever, never meaning no harm. Even though they were always in trouble with the law since the day they were born, which I always take that to mean once they were out of the womb, they were really trying to rile up some trouble. Making their way any way they know how, but that sometimes is just a little bit more than the law will allow. Even though the law was more crooked than the honest Dukes. I always loved Uncle Jesse too. No, not Uncle Jesse from Full House. That's not my Uncle Jesse. You know what I'm talking about. Found another article online designating this place was also the Valencia Oaks, but it was also known as Lyon's Canyon. Lyons Canyons Ranch. And the article I'm reading says, slated to become yet another housing development. The ranch was used by films and shows, of course, Dukes I mentioned, A-Team, Jake and the Fat Man, Tales from the Crypt, Knight Rider, and known at the time, as I stated, Valencia Oaks Movie Ranch. It was owned by Time Warner, the successor to Warner Brothers, according to the article. Yeah, you can't always believe 100% everything that's online. Sometimes it's good to just show up and see things on your own accord. Look at that. That is an awesome view. It's also a good site I stumbled upon. I don't want to stumble upon these rocks. You could really hurt yourself. Called Hazzard Net. It's just a treasure trove of info on the web. It's kind of, you know, when it comes to even any kind of filming locations or just anything in general, pop culture stuff, it's always good when everybody just kind of helps each other. And I hope by me showing this, that someone else that is into the subject matter, which I know there's a lot, will figure things out that I didn't know, and everybody just kind of feeds off each other. That's one of the positive things about the interwebs. There's a power pole right there too. Probably no electricity on it, but still got the wires and everything. This is that turn I showed earlier where countless times it would go by. Cars would go by here being chased. And somewhere up here, I don't have any internet signal out here too. Kind of a no signal zone out here, so I'm kind of on my own. I did like have some stuff on my phone already that I've been looking at, but cannot search anything online to try to figure out exactly. But according to those maps I showed out of my phone, right in here or over here was where the water tower was. We're somewhere in here. Maybe right here on this hill. Consider me your interactive on the scene map. Generic corner, Lulu's gone away, the episode is, and then also the mine shaft was right over where I'm going to point the camera. Right around this bend, so it was kind of up on that little incline. See the sun starting to set. I probably want to start getting back to the car before the sun sets. I don't need any coyotes or anything saying hi once the shroud of nightfall starts to happen. Here's another power pole here. Man, I really hope this doesn't get all torn out. I mean, not that there's really anything here, but you can really do a deep dive at all the, I mean, not just Dukes, but all those other spots that were taken out here. Come out here, I could print off a bunch of stuff, return out here at a later date, and really kind of showcase this place properly. But I had to check in on it while I was here, and I have found where the Boar's nest is, and I'm going to go do one more little look up here where Uncle Jesse's Duke's farm was. I also know, if you've never seen the show, anyone watching this is going to go, why am I sitting here watching Adam walk around a bunch of nothing, looking at a bunch of empty terrain? Southern California. Which is fine. I appreciate that. I thought there was an animal. I keep looking over my shoulder thinking there are like coyotes coming up to me. But if you are a fan of the series, you might be losing your mind right now just knowing this area. That's kind of, sometimes I like to throw things into the mix like that, where it's like, oh dang, I know that spot. That's how I feel right now, even though I can't physically pinpoint and show every single angle and what it was back then. It all looks familiar, and you can see the interstate is right over there, not just right off the interstate, near Six Flags, 5 miles from Six Flags. Looking at the blue dot, so I should be right at the entrance of Uncle Jesse's, the dirt road. There's not much left of it, but I walked in this way, so I passed that. Over there's also that skeleton, and this was the one road that's kind of showing up on the map. So you got this one road, this goes around, and in the circle where these two meet, this and this, Uncle Jesse's should be right here, or would have been right there, as shown here. So right there, that little fork in the road, Uncle Jesse's farm was right in the middle of this. And I feel like the freeway is so busy now that they wouldn't even be able to film that show out here anymore, because the audio would be such a problem. Because the interstate's going over there, all that busy traffic. I just heard a siren go by. That would wreak havoc on good audio for a show. There are a couple photos of the farmhouse, so you can see the mountains over the top, and there's these kind of unique trees over there next to Uncle Jesse's truck. There's also this photo of Daisy standing next to the barn that was next to the house, and a very unique tree as well. But those trees look to have been uprooted. There was also a power pole over her shoulder. Could it be any of these three here? But it also, the camera could have been this way, but all of those trees gone. I do recall watching the show, a lot of times they'd be at the farm and they would be looking off in the distance, probably that way, or maybe that way, or maybe even this way. You'd always have Roscoe kind of driving in. It's long, and I always wonder, it's like he's coming out on a very bumpy road. It's like their driveway was very bumpy. Probably to to keep the law off their property. Makes sense. Definitely some animal tracks right there. It's an old power pole that's charred and burned on Uncle Jesse's property. Oh, ooh, ooh, ooh. What is this? Yes! Dukes of Hazzard screen used prop. Uncle Jesse's barn. I love it. All right. It's getting good. I mean, that might be the only thing I found, but yeah. Got another board right here. A little stick on it. Well, the stick is from my own hand, but that's why there's a stick on it. But there's a rock over there. All right, found two little relics. I do love all these power poles. I wonder how long these power poles are about. And here's another little item down here too. Little stick there. And I showed that foundation there. Little power box on this one. All charred and burned the bottom of that pole. Metal power box, and there's even still a wire right up there. And then even one that goes across up there, going all the way over through the trees, and then ending at that other power pole. Down there, right there. You look over here, there's another, looks like a fence post right there on the ground. Oh, that stick just broke and there's a metal post there. You know, any of this could have been some shows. Here's even a concrete slab with another metal fence post there. Probably shouldn't be walking through the shrubs, but yeah. I'm making my way out now. This arrow points to USA, which would be where Jesse's spot would have been, the Duke's farm, but also that might be pointing because, you know, like a mile hike that way, where I just was the flag on that bridge. Maybe that's why that says USA. Extremely grown over. No mowing going on out here. No real reason to. Wait for like a jackalope to run out of here. Dave Coulier voiced jackalope, startling me. Totally unrelated to the rest of the subject matter. That sun is setting. One thing I really love about, you know, Hollywood in general, Los Angeles and all that, is all these shows you would never ever assume were filmed in LA. Yeah, you would think Dukes of Hazzard, Georgia. You would think Andy Griffith, North Carolina. You would think Star Trek in outer space. Things like that. But they really, it's part of the illusion. But yeah, most of it in that era was all out here. Very beautiful landscape. I can see why they chose this area. Also, as I stated earlier, very green out here. That's going to do it for today. Thanks for watching. The sun is setting. I would say another probably 30 minutes it'll be tipping down over the side of the mountains. I do not want to be out here after dark. Probably not a wise choice. I'm glad I did this. I've always been kind of curious if anything was left out here. There's not a whole heck of a lot. But I was able to figure out a few things thanks to some help from the interwebs. Maybe I'll return out here again if they do not turn all this into condos. I hope not, because look at this landscape. I've also disregarded the stick I had. So if I get jumped by something on the way out, I think I'll be fine. I'll see you in the next video. The vlog. It's magic hour. I've been saying that a lot lately. I love filming locations. I really do. Especially from that old-timey era. Well, not too old-timey, but 70s, 80s. Ah, love them so much. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. The vlog is over.